All right, welcome back to the channel. So, we're here to play big. We have some big dreams, and you want to build a coaching business. And I'm super excited for you. Again, just a little bit about my personal story. I worked in New York City. I worked for one of the largest ad agencies in the world. I had a great career on paper. I made good money. I was one of those guys that wore a suit to work every day. And there was a time where I wanted to be a New York City businessman, and I made it happen. And when I finally got there, it wasn't what I really wanted it to be. And I felt like I was made for more. And there was always a part of me that wanted to be able to take some of the lessons that I've learned and pass them on to other people. Because you see, when I was young, I totally train wrecked my life. And in my late teens and early 20s, I got in an incredible amount of trouble. If you followed me for some time, you'll know that I actually went to prison, something that I'm not very proud of, but it actually defined a lot of who I am today. And I was able to crawl out of anger and depression. I became an NLP certified practitioner, started being inspired by people like Tony Robbins and people who are making a tremendous change in the world. I actually started as a mindset coach. I mean, you can't start as a business coach until you build a successful business, right? But the reality is, I had this dream of being an entrepreneur for years, and I never followed that calling. I had so many excuses that got in my way. And finally, one day, I said, I need to do this, and I started pursuing it. And I hope that's you right now. I hope you're in a place where you're ready to pursue. So here's what we need to understand first. How is it that we actually start to build a coaching business? Whether you're just getting started, you haven't started yet and you're just thinking about it, or you're already on the way, you already have a coaching program, I want you to know that the foundation of your coaching business is built off of 4 magic questions. So I run a coaching company with my partner, Bradley. It's called Real Coach. And we have what we call the Real Coach Clarity Formula. 4 magic questions that form the foundation of your business. It's really easy. So if you don't know where to start, or you started and maybe you need to refine a little bit, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Number 1, who's the person that you serve? We've all heard this. You need a specific avatar. So many coaches, so many people that I've worked with say, you know what, Raf? I want to start a coaching business, but first, I need to figure out who that person is. I can serve everybody. And the reality is, you probably can. Whether you're a health coach, a fitness coach, a life coach, any type of coach, you can probably serve a wide range of people. But here's the catch. You can't market to a wide range of people. You see, many believe that if they speak to everybody, that their voice is going to be louder. But here's what happens. If you're a life coach, for instance, if you go on social media right now, there are probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of other life coaches out there. And if somebody's looking for a life coach, they're going to look at all these different coaches. So your voice has to shine amongst those hundreds of thousands of people. When you start to get narrow, when you say, I am a life coach for single moms who just got divorced, who are facing a very specific problem, well, guess what? There's not hundreds of thousands of millions of coaches that are doing that exact thing. So what you're actually doing is cutting out the noise. Your voice becomes louder. It penetrates through all of the clutter that's on social media right now, and you can start talking to that person. So, how do you do it? First and foremost, if you've been juggling around who that person is and you don't want to niche down, just make a decision. Think about what that person's demographic, their age, what they do for an occupation, what are their life circumstances. And you never know until you go. I was so hesitant to carve out a niche for myself when I first started, and it held me back so much because I was never able to market to a specific person. I became very generic. So get a picture of who that person is. I always ask my clients, if you had one opportunity, just one, and you had somebody sitting across the table from you and you can pass your knowledge on to them, who would that person be? Who are you most passionate about solving a problem for? So that's magic question number one. Who's the person that you serve? Number two, what is the specific problem that you solve for them? And I know, just like you can serve many people, you can probably solve a lot of problems. But solving all of the problems for all of the people, once again, doesn't create a good marketing message, and it also doesn't create a good coaching program. Something that we're going to talk about in later videos is how you actually develop a curriculum. A curriculum, something that I've been obsessed about for the past 8 years, reverse engineers a very specific problem. And that's the program that you're going to be selling. It needs to be clear that you have a blueprint that can take someone from A to Z that solves that problem. So when we look at the person that we serve, ask yourself, what are 1, 2, 3 tops specific problems that you can solve for them that you can eventually reverse engineer in a coaching program? All right, so that's magic question number 2. On to number 3. How specifically do you solve that problem? And when we think of how we solve the problem, again, I know there's many ways, but here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to make it super simple. If you were to think about that individual who is struggling with that problem, I want you to ask yourself, on their way to solving that problem, what are key pillars that they need to learn? So for instance, I teach people how to build a coaching business. There's probably 120, if not 500 things that I could potentially teach people. Everything from creating a branding message to writing a curriculum, different marketing funnels, how we do paid versus organic advertising, sales strategy one-on-one versus building a sales team. There's so much. But I don't want to tell people that I have the 97 steps to build a coaching business. That's confusing. So I break it down into a few core pillars. If somebody is starting out and they want to have a successful business, I look at where they are. What are the key pillars that this person needs to learn? Well, number one, they need to learn the art of coaching. Being a subject matter expert doesn't make you a coach. Coaching is an art form. So in my program, Real Coach, I teach people the art of coaching, developing a coaching philosophy, the art of asking powerful questions. Then we move on to offer creation. Offer creation, which includes creating a niche, creating a curriculum, packaging and pricing, strategy and structure, so on and so forth. But I just say offer creation. Then marketing. In marketing, I teach everything from how to create video hooks to how do you write compelling copy to marketing funnels, landing pages, email sequences, everything that you will need to attract your ideal customer. But I just say marketing. And then finally, there is sales. Now, I teach sales and scaling. When I worked with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, I worked at a company called Mastermind. And I walked away from my own coaching business to go build a business unit there. That business unit ended up doing multiple 8 figures. I hired sales teams. I wrote scripts for the sales teams. I trained them. I hired coaches. I wrote the curriculum. I filmed all the videos. I did everything, and I scaled that business. So scaling to me is part of sales. So I can teach one-on-one sales, I can teach how to scale a company, I can teach how to sell from the stage, and I can teach you how to teach a sales team how to sell for you. But I don't want to say all of that. I mean, that's a mouthful. If I'm trying to sell my program, I'm just going to say sales. So how specifically do I solve the problem of a beginner coach that's looking to build a successful business? I teach them the art of coaching, offer creation, marketing, and sales. So ask yourself, what are the pillars that you teach? And then finally, what is the compelling outcome? The compelling outcome is essentially what we're selling. There's too many coaches out there that I see that are charging people for sessions. Oh, it's $150 a session. Oh, it's this much a session. Oh, it's this much. But you're not selling a session. A real coach makes somebody put an investment towards a transformation. So we're really not selling anything. People are investing in themselves. That transformation, that's the outcome of your program. And that's essentially what you're going to be marketing. And all of these 4 questions, they become a filter. Every single idea that you have in your coaching business is going to pass through this filter. When you are creating your program, it needs to go through all of those filters. You need to make sure that you can bring somebody to the compelling outcome, that you have a proprietary process, how you solve the problem, that you are indeed focused on 1, 2, maybe 3 problems, and that you are building that program for the specific person. When you begin marketing, if you're creating a piece of content for social media, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, like we are here, you're going to make sure it speaks to that person and that you articulate to the marketplace what problem you can solve and how you can solve it. So there you are. If you're looking to start your coaching business, can it get complex? I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy, but when you learn from the right people, it becomes easier. And these are 4 magic questions. And I don't care if you're just getting started, thinking about getting started, or you're making multiple millions. I've worked with 8-figure clients and I've helped them grow their business. And these are the filters that I start with every single coaching business. So go ahead, ask yourself the 4 magic questions, put your answers down on paper, and guess what? You actually have, whether you believe it or not, the beginning of an amazing coaching business. I'll see you in the next one.